Thanks for watching Layman Racing Podcast. Please make sure you check out my recent episodes. They're pretty cool. Thank you for watching and thank you for the support and enjoy the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Layman Racing Podcast. Your host, Dalton McVeigh. Unfortunately, the co-host couldn't make it here tonight. He had some things happening at the last moment. So as far as that goes, tonight we are going to hear in this podcast, we got some inquiries into the high auto performance. Also, we got a very, very special guest in the backstage getting ready to come on here in a little bit as well. From down south as well, and I will get into his introduction here in a second. I figured I would come up with some fun facts of dirt racing here real quick. So as far as a lot of people go about the dirt racing, though, they say that the drifting techniques are the driving techniques. There's two different driving techniques in racing. There's either the drifting, which is to control the intentional oversteer and maintain the speed navigating through the turns, and then there's also throttle control as that goes. As that presents a spin outs or slides or whatever, you've seen by those big guys and the guys in the bombers, street stock, stuff like that. The community and culture of it is the dirt racing is a close-knit community. A lot of people get family members and all that stuff as well through there, like good friends and brothers and all that, as we all get through there. Safety considerations are definitely one of the main keys in racing and all that stuff as well. And track conditions are a big thing as well. And there's such thing as, sprint cars, late model racing, modifieds, dirt, bicycle, and ATVs, and compact front-wheel drives as well. Dirt track conditions is a significant thing on all that as well as what the racing turns out to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into our guest here. So, the introduction. So, here we go. The old man of compacts from down south, he is here to talk about his career and highlights and back stories about the collaboration with MWR through all of his motor shop automotive stuff down there as well, the high performance automotive down in Pensacola there. He is to talk about his journey to the big up and coming race that is coming as well, the success of motor building on also the high performance engines in front wheel drive in the world and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dyno Dave Smoot to the stage. How you doing,
Hey,
Dave?
Dalton. Thanks a lot for bringing me on, man. We really appreciate it. How's everybody doing out there tonight?
Good, not too bad. How are you?
We're okay. We're at the shop. We just shut it down a couple hours ago, and we're here for the podcast. You know what I mean? Trying to, spread the word. That front wheel drive is still growing and jumping and humping, and we got some big money races coming out. A lot of them throughout the whole country. From the East Coast to the West Coast, and we're excited about it.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So let's kick things off by just, explaining about yourself, like where you're from and etc.
Well, I was born and raised a Californian, okay, and we got a lot of exposure out there in racing, at a good old place called Ascot Speedway. Prior to that, we were racing motorcycles and mini bikes. I grew up with a guy by the name of Butch Gilliland, which is the father of David Gilliland, that's got Tricon Motorsports now. They're going to have 5 trucks at the Daytona 500 this year, and that'll be, I believe, on a Friday night. And good old David, I saw him just recently at the Snowball Derby here, and he's looking good and still, doing what he loves. I remember the little guy when he was just a little toddler, pushing around air tanks in the pits for Butch, which is my age, 65, or well, Butch is probably 66 or 67 now. And now there's Todd, the third generation Gilliland. And so we were born in, like I said, in California, and we got a lot of exposure. I used to watch those guys day in and day out. Used to work really, really close with them. Butch had several brothers, Charlie as well as Frankie, and we're really, really good friends to this day. We're all still alive and kicking, and just racing. part of our blood, in our blood, you know, from, like I said, mini bikes to motorcycles, mini cycles, you know, and then it went into Butch, you know, leading off in enduro cars, and he made a lot of money in enduro racing, you know, which kept him going, you know, to the point that he started racing Winston West out there, and became the Winston West champion in, I believe it was 2 years, 96 as well as 97. Okay. He was sponsored by Strop Motorsports, Bill Strop. Okay. Which is like really cool friends with Roush, Cat in the Hat. And, you know, it was just something that I've always wanted to do, you know. I first started off at a dealership, working at a dealership, when I wasn't even old enough. I was 17, you know, and I was still in school, but I was able to work at a dealership part time. And there was guys who were saying, Dave, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You want to go to school to be a doctor or an attorney or something like that. And I said, man, these guys are crazy, man. You know, there was technicians that would come to the shop, you know, driving different color cars every day of the week. You know, there's one guy named Randy Hapola at a Randy's Funny Car Museum. Check him out. Okay, Randy's no longer with us, but he was one of the technicians that inspired me to keep doing what I love, which is working on cars. You know, my good old granddad bred me into racing. You know, he's the one that was responsible for it all. You know, took me to Ascot Speedway to watch the sprint cars. We could hear the sprint cars from our house. We lived probably a couple of miles away from Ascot Speedway, and Ascot was the kind of speedway, and it was truly America's favorite dirt track. Racing, we're talking about 3 or 4 nights out of the week with full house. Okay. I just don't get it. You know, these promoters nowadays, they have races that are maybe once a month that are pretty decent, you know, fan crowds. But this guy, JC Aganjanian of JC Aganjanian Motorsports, he was able to some way, somehow, he was a salesman, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, be able to keep the house full. Okay. 4 or 5 nights out of the week. Okay. One night we know we're running speedway bikes. Another night we're racing AMA flat track bikes. And then it went into motocross. Then on Saturday night, I believe it was the sprint cars. No, sprint cars were Sunday night, and or vice versa. I might have it mixed up. It was a long time ago, but late models, street stocks, figure eight cars, all that kind of stuff would race there one night out of the week, and I believe that was Sunday night with the late models and stuff like that. They even had front wheel drive and rear wheel drive cars running back then, but they were Volvos and Mazdas and stuff like that, and it was exciting. You know, it was something that grew on me. You know, especially watching Butch, you know, winning just about everything that he, you know, jumped in. He would just about win just about everything. Then he'd go to the good old Benelli Ranch, which was in Saugus Speedway, and he'd pretty much dominate there. They got older, you know, some of those tracks closed. Ascot closed, the Benelli Ranch, Saugus Speedway, they closed. And then there was a good old Irwindale, and David dominated at Irwindale. David Gilliland dominated at Irwindale, and I'll never forget they had all 3 generations of the Gillilands racing at Irwindale: Butch, David, and Todd Gilliland. Which Todd's going to be at Daytona in the number 34. I'm not sure if he's still sponsored by that Peanuts company of some type, but rest assured he's still in there with Front Row Motorsports. Okay, that was one of the 2 companies, racing teams that opted out on signing that deal. Okay, along with Jordan and you know, Bubba Wallace and all that other stuff. You know, now from my information, there's a lot of teams that wish they would not have signed that whole deal, and we know what it's about. It's about money, and what it is what it is. The racers are going to keep racing. With NASCAR, without NASCAR, we're gonna keep racing. We're gonna keep racing.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so like especially with like the way racing has been, it's been like seeing a lot of people out there just out there running their race and stuff and being able to go out all around the world and hear, the stories and stuff. It's pretty cool as well. As so it's I know you sent me a picture of you and I know it's probably a good time to bring it up, but you and Scott Bloomquist. So you mind talking a little bit more on that, like where that was and
Yeah, I got this shirt right here. I got this shirt with the winter freeze on. The last time I saw Scott, I was at Screven, and I wasn't running. I just went out there to support a guy. The winter freeze. It's a pretty tough deal. You gotta have all your ducks lined in a row. And last year I didn't have them in a row, as well as this year I don't have them in a row. But we're going to be there to support my teammate Hunter Hollis. He just got bad to the bone MWR motor. I heard it today, and it's on its way to the doctor, Jason Waters, to get its final dialing in. Like we final dial in the Killer Gorilla, it's getting dialed in by Jason Waters. TDJ. I want to thank my sponsors. First of all, even for me to even be in this position, I want to thank Whit Transmission, Robbie Ferguson, for doing all the things that they do for us. They helped us out, and they've been with us now for the last several years. Their first opening race with us was Bristol, and we got that under our belt. We didn't do that hot. We were doing pretty good. We were doing pretty good, but the bottom line is, I thought that I was going to be able to run that race without my fans on, and then all of a sudden a caution came up, and I forgot to turn my fans on like an idiot. Okay, and we kind of cooked it, but yeah, TDJ Oil Fill Services out of Princeton, Louisiana. That's Joey Moore. He sponsored me. And there's continual sponsorship from him, and help from their family. Okay, Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace Racing Technologies, and otherly known as Lightning Chassis. Great guy. A little bit far for me, but it's worth the wait, and worth the haul up there to get some of his technology that he puts in those Lightning Chassis midgets to put in my front wheel drive car. Mike's really helped me out, and so what we're doing is, between me and Mike, okay, but mainly Mike, okay. Mike does all the critical number stuff, for the bottom ends and stuff like that. I have my heads done by another source out of California, and Mike's put together some, killer, outstanding motors, that were winners. As soon as you drop them in, winners. You know, so Mike Wallace, I want to thank Mike Wallace once again, TDJ Oil Fill Services, okay, and Robbie Ferguson of Whit Transmission. I can't thank those guys enough. I have another guy that initially got me the Ray Bestis sponsorship, which is Alf Erickson. And we might have a deal going on. I think I may have mentioned it to you through the airwaves with Napa. Napa Corporate getting ready to possibly sponsor the fastest black man in the South, aka Dyno Dave. We don't know.
I'll go ahead and show them the picture for the Napa car for sure that you sent me. We'll go ahead and put that up there on there. Let's see. So we will go ahead and bring that one up. So that one's the one right there that he was talking about the sponsor of Napa there.
Yep, that's it right there. And that car is I forgot the name of the company now that built a chassis on it, but the guy that I bought the shop from here, okay, he came to me. He came to me 3 days after Napa came to me, okay, and I think you got a picture of the car when it was black. He said, Dave, yep. He said, you want to run this thing for the Snowball, and it's called a it's like a modified. It's a modified Outlaw. That's what it's called. It's called an Outlaw. And Rodney McDonald, he asked me if I wanted to run that thing, and we were trying to put it together. I was really cluttered up here at the shop, taking in 10, 15 cars a day, and just a shortage of technicians, which is going to remain the same, and Rodney asked me, Dave, do you want to run this thing? And, me, I'm not going to say no for a deal like that. I haven't been on asphalt for a while, especially at the Snowball Derby. My last time there was 2012, and we did good. We finished second, and that was not in one of those cars. That was in a bomber, and that was after I took a 20-year hiatus from racing. A friend of mine gave me a shot at it, and we did good on asphalt. And we've only done a few asphalt shows in my life. Okay, a couple at Saga Speedway, once at El Cajon in San Diego, the San Diego area, and then here at Five Flags after not racing for 20 years, and Rodney McDonald, he saw me there, and he saw that I did good, and he said, "Hey, who is this guy?" And then we ended up being friends. He ended up selling me the shop here, which used to be it used to be called the McCory's Garage. It's in one of the old famous shops here in Pensacola, and I was fortunate enough to get this shop right here and be able to make a pretty decent living out of the place, and the Napa deal. So rewinding, the Rodney McDonald guy came in 3 days after Napa came in here, and it might have just been a whim. I really don't know. Okay, but the Napa guy came to me. He said, Dave, have you ever heard of a Grant Enfinger? And I said, no, I've never heard of Grant Enfinger. I race cars. Yes, no, I've heard of Grant Enfinger. Okay, I know who Grant Enfinger is, and he's a super driver for late models. He races Cup sometimes. The other series as well. The other ARCA cars, but mainly he's a late model specialist. He said we gave him $60,000, and I said that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. He said, yeah, we understand that you race. And I said, yeah, I race that little shit box that's up there that's on the wall, the Killer Gorilla. And he started laughing. He said, oh, we might have some interest in that. And I said, okay, that'd be great. But we started trying to put together a plan before the Snowball Derby. And this is like 3 weeks before the Snowball Derby, okay, with some of the elite drivers in the country, okay, in the super late divisions, as well as all the other divisions, some of the best and the best of the best asphalt guys in the country, okay. That place is just right down the street from me here, and the Snowball Derby, a lot of guys, that's just, if they win that race, it's like the pinnacle of their career. Okay, and so I said, yeah, let's make it happen. But then he went back to Corp, and I started thinking about it because I had so many irons in the fire with my technicians, cars here at the shop, working on Highline cars and just regular stuff, that we're having a little bit of a hard time trying to get them out of here, and so I really lost my focus. And we finally came to an agreement that it was wrong timing, okay, right before the Snowball Derby, 2 to 3 weeks before. And then plus I didn't have any lap time. To go out with some of the best drivers in the country. I was going to take a whole day. They were going to rent the track for me and take a whole day, but that really honestly, that still wouldn't have been enough. Okay, and so I put it on the back burner. They put it on the back burner. We're talking with Napa right now. We're in negotiations with Napa on seeing what they're going to bring to the table, opposed to Whit. Whit's a great TDJ, Oil Fill Services. All these guys are just like family to me. They're great sponsors, but I ain't gonna lie about it. I'd like to strut the Killer Gorilla around in some Napa attire,
Oh yeah.
and having Napa behind me for all my soft parts and things of that nature. And, some of the hard parts too. I mean, this stuff ain't cheap, and, if you want to win, you got to have some of the best stuff, and that stuff costs money and hard work.
Oh yeah, definitely. So real quick, I'm going to add in the picture from the earlier about you and Scott Bloomquist, because I didn't add it in here a little bit ago. So everybody, that's him and Scott Bloomquist there. And then
Yep. That was in the in the announcer's booth upstairs at Screven Motor Speedway last year. That was the last time I got to see Scott, and he's a great guy, man, great guy. One of my heroes of all time. I don't think there'll ever be another late model driver like Scott. And it's pretty cool. Scott had told his brother-in-law that and him and Scott, they have a condo out here on the beach in Pensacola Beach. Okay. And it's actually called Perdido Key. Okay. They have a condo there, and they were sending me all kinds of work, on stuff that was bad. There's snowbirds. They're living up north, and then they come out here for the warm weather during the summertime and stuff like that. And, yeah, that was the last time that I saw Scott. I also introduced him to my other little racing buddy, Hunter Hollis, and yeah, that was at Screven. Dwayne Keith was announcing along with Paul Clayton, my other buddy, and yeah, that we had a good time that night. We had a really good time. I miss Scott, and we'll miss him just like many other folks will always miss Scott Bloomquist.
So I know you mentioned about the announcing, the commentary, but did you want me to bring up the one time about the I think it was at Bristol. I think it was Kenny Wallace and somebody else was doing a commentary.
Yeah, Kenny Wallace. That was when we were at Bristol, and that was our very first time at Bristol. Okay, and we didn't have the motor for it. The motor was just wound up. I didn't really know, what kind of speeds we were going to be shooting for and things of that nature. We blew up a motor. We had a backup motor. We went through the B main, and we were doing good. And then all of a sudden, we launched a rod, and I'm an engine builder. That happens to the best of us. Anybody will tell you that.
Oh yeah.
So there's no such thing as the best engine builder building motors with them not blowing up. Okay, to clear that up. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of people were on me. Oh, your motors don't hold together. Your motors don't hold together. Hey, I've seen crate motors come apart. Right out of the crate from General Motors. But anyways, yeah, that was good old Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace. That was, I believe, 6 or 7 months after I broke my back in the Killer Gorilla at Columbus Speedway, aka the Magnolia Motor Speedway. When I flipped the Killer Gorilla, I was trying to shoot on the bottom and just nudged a tractor tire by about an inch, and it just sent me in the most violent frenzy of the worst accident I've ever been in my racing career. I don't know if you got any photos of that, but that was crazy. I mean, I almost got paralyzed from my waist down. I was almost paralyzed, and they were talking about airlifting me, to University of Mississippi Medical Center, but they got me there was somebody else that was even more serious than I was. And so they put me in an ambulance. They shot me there. And, man, L2, L3, L4, all of that stuff was just bad. I had to have a spinal fusion. I was on stuff that I don't like to take, for the pain for several months. And it was a bad deal. It was a real bad deal.
So I do have a picture of you in the hospital there, and I also have the picture of I do have the video of what you sent me of the I think it was at Magnolia Speedway, or there was a wreck or something that I think there was a video you sent me where you were getting out there, and I think you flipped the car, so it might have been there as well.
Yeah, that was after I got out of the car. You can see that the car is just trash. That was a brand new car. The Killer Gorilla was brand new at that time.
Well, that is Mr. Dyno Dave after he went to the hospital there, after Magnolia there. And then
I had more wires on me than a Cadillac on a tune-up machine. Okay, plugged in me here and plugged in me there. It was horrible.
We'll go ahead and get over here to. Yep, that's the one. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna share this, and
here last night. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, I got an update. He's still in one piece, shook up, Ooh, the gorilla seen better days. Oh man, this ain't no dirt.
That chunk of mud on that four-wheeler was inside the car with it.
This dang, that chunk fell into the car. Look at that rim. You all right? Hey, that's racing right there, baby. He's okay though. He gonna walk it off. We'll be back to kick some ass later. The gorilla. The gorilla. But the legend is still okay. And that's all that matters. The man, the myth, the legend. Dyno Dave does it again, baby.
I need y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I had to check on my man. We out of here. We leaving.
All right, so that was, I believe that was over at, where was that?
Magnolia. Magnolia
Yep.
Motor Speedway.
Gotcha. Okay. All righty. So we got that. So we'll go into something about this. So how long have you been in the racing career? You know, been racing and all that as well.
Well, as far as cars go, we first bought. We had a Camaro. It was a '77 Camaro. Okay, we were sponsored by Don Garlitz at Super Shops Torrance. Okay, he was my very first sponsor. Okay, I walked in there and I asked one of his managers named Mike to sponsor me, and they sponsored that '77 Camaro, which we ran at Ascot Park in the bomber division. Okay, it was a pretty fast car. I only there were a lot of top fives, only one win in that thing. I mean, fast cars, that was a flat quarter. And a lot of famous drivers, you know, grew up at that track right there. You know, Parnelli Jones, you know, AJ Foyt ran that place, you know, a lot of guys, you know, a lot of legends ran there. And, you know, then after that, I jumped into a Riverside car, believe it or not. It was built by a guy named Ivan Baldwin. Okay, he's another pretty famous chassis builder, and that was in an '87 Monte Carlo SS. Okay, and so the car was a Riverside car. It was an asphalt car, and they converted it into dirt, and we did the best we could in it. That was crazy, you know, jumping in, you know, the Monte Carlo, you know, late model. Okay, at the time that was, you know, is the strongest division you could have been in, you know, for late models. On the West Coast, you know, on the East Coast, there was more exotic type of late models, and that was one of the goals I had, but we never made that, was to travel to the East Coast. But the Ivan Baldwin car was pretty fast, and we had some pretty good experiences in that. You know, some pretty cool ones and some pretty cool memories. We went to this place and called Pearsonville for the Turkey Day Classic in that good old Monte Carlo, and just built a motor on it. Just built the motor, pulled it off the trailer, okay, with it set up, and went out there for practice and got squirrely. Okay, some way somehow I got a little bit sideways. It was just, you know, a 358, you know, pistons, the whole 9 yards, and kind of embarrassed to say this, but what happened is that Ron Hornaday, former Craftsman Super Truck and Cup driver, me and him got in a little tangle, and he got out of control and hit a big old giant stump on the infield and just destroyed his car. I made it out of it. We didn't make the feature or anything for that Turkey Day Classic, needless to say. But yeah, Ron Hornaday's crew was a little bit upset, and they came to the pits, and we had a couple of words. But then after that, we got rid of the Monte Carlo. Then I bought a car from one of the first African American NASCAR champions. Okay, kind of like a Wendell Scott, but maybe at a little lower level. His name was Marcus Mallet. Okay, and he's featured in the 1990 February edition of Circle Track magazine. Okay, he was one of the Winston West winners. Okay, one of the Winston West track champions out of Ascot Speedway, and I bought the car, the late model, from him, which was built by a guy named uh, Gary Sigmund at PRE, Professional Racers Emporium in Torrance, California, and a lot of guys had his stuff, and so that car was considered a Saturday night special, and Marcus won the championship with it, won a lot of races. I just don't understand why Marcus never went Cup and never got discovered, but that's what happened, and there was just a lot of good racers in that era back there. That was where they had the late models, and a lot of the late models were able to come out and have shows that had sideboards on them. And I keep joking with everybody. Not joking. I'm dead serious about it. I want to see a sideboard front wheel drive show, so we can put 8-foot sideboards with straps on them, plexiglass sideboards with some straps on those things to see what they can actually do. But yeah, got in that car and was sponsored by one of the biggest engine companies in the country, SCI, Standard Crankshaft Incorporated, out of Los Angeles. They stood behind me on all the hard parts and stuff like that, and we did good. We made it into the Western Nationals at Bakersfield Speedway, and we were running, believe it or not, a solid steel block. Okay, a solid steel block, and the announcer made the announcement. And they said, and Dyno Dave is the only solid steel block in the field. And I think we started in like the 22nd hole, okay, based on our, getting into the feature via the main event.
Uh-huh.
And so I pulled off a fourth in the B, which transferred me into the A, and yeah, was able to get there with some of the best guys in the country on a late model on the West Coast, and then that was pretty much it with the late model. We only ran that thing for a couple of years, and after that, I took a hiatus from racing for probably, I'd say, a good 15 years or something like that. And so, my racing career was short. I'd say between 85, starting in the 77 Camaro, up until about 91. So I'd say about a 6-year span there. But then prior to that, it was all like mini bikes, go-karts, motorcycles, motocross, stuff like that. And so been racing since I've been, probably about 11, 12 years old, right around there, but always had it in my blood. Grandpa used to take me to go-kart tracks, and we used to zing, zing, zing with go-karts and stuff like that. And like I said, became friends with the Gillilands, and always stayed around it. Took the hiatus for about 15, 20 years, right around there. And first guy that gave me a shot was a guy by the name of Rocky Boyd of Boyd Motorsports and Radiator here in Pensacola, and he put me in that Five Flags car, that bomber, and we picked up some little local sponsorships, a donut shop for one, a place called Daylight Donuts, and they sponsored us $500. A couple other guys gave us $500 for the tires here. A couple of wrecking yards gave us all the panels and all that stuff that we needed, and we went out there and we did our thing with it. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, good old Dyno was chasing the 5-time track champion there at the Snowball Derby, in second place. I couldn't get around him, but I was happy with that after not racing for, 20 years.
Awesome to hear.
Now, as far as from this point forward, that was 2012 when I was in that bomber that belonged to Rocky Boyd. Okay. And I only ran that a couple of times. And then what happened was I kind of took a hiatus, didn't have a lot of money or anything like that. Was kind of broke, life goes on, you know what I mean? Broke. And 2016, 2016, I decided to change some things in my life. And I remember I was, drawing pictures, as I was sitting in jail, of late models with sideboards and stuff like that on them, and front wheel drive cars. I was drawing pictures while I was in my cell, and it was just a dream that I wanted to get back to racing, some way, somehow, and I asked God to help me with that. And he helped me. He sure helped me with that kind of stuff. I decided to buy this Pontiac Sunfire. We called it the Gambler. And you got a video on that one too, when I took it to Devil's Bowl Speedway, for like a 30,000 to win race. But I was just great and grateful to be able to come back into racing, just overpaid, just totally overpaid with life, was able to come back in, start racing. And so I thought I was hot stuff, with that little Firebird, I was at a couple of local shows. One of them was Southern Speedway. Another one was Floamington, Floamington Speedway, which is abandoned. I believe that track's for sale right here in Alabama. And, I thought I was hot stuff, with the little Firebird 2.2, won a couple of little local races around here. And this one guy comes up to me and he says, "Dave, you're doing so good." He said, "They're racing these little cars for 12,000 to win." I go, 12,000 to win? Really? I go, "Where's that at?" And they go, "A place called Screven, baby." Okay, it's called Winter Freeze. And so I pulled up there with this open trailer, pulling it with the Dodge Dakota. And when I got there, I still had confidence. Okay, my self-esteem was up. I'm still pumped up until I heard these cars that are called SCDRA cars. Okay, I had no clue that I was bringing a knife to a gunfight, a machine gun fight. Okay,
cars out there.
Yeah, these things sounded like NHRA Top Fuel Funny Cars. Okay, NHRA Top Fuel Funny Cars. That's what they sounded like when I got there. Talking about intimidated, I was a little bit intimidated. I have to say, in the other tracks that Southern Speedway and a couple other places they really didn't care. Okay, that I really didn't know the rules for that division, that little four-cylinder division, because I went to some tracks and I said, I'd like to just jump in one of those things and come out here and stomp on these guys, and so I did that at my little local tracks. Okay, but the thing about it is that when I got to Screven, it was a whole different party. We're talking about guys and I still remember all those guys, man. They were very, very good and welcoming to me when I got there. And when I got there, bone stock 2.2 Sunfire that weighed about 2,670. I'll never forget it. Okay, 2,670 pounds with an automatic in it. Okay, I still had the racing seat, okay, connected to the sliders, the adjustable sliders that are for the factory seat. Okay, because I really didn't know what the rules really consisted of for this little, popcorn division. Okay, and I remember Kelly Carlton from the SCDRA. He said, or he told us text, he said, that guy ain't racing until he fixes his seat. He's got it well. So we had to tie it in. We had to tie it into the cage and all that other kind of stuff, and I was able to do that. They didn't even allow me to practice. I might have got one practice round until they found out what the seat was. And the tech guys might have missed it the very first time through, from what I recall. That was back in 2017. And believe it or not, the Winter Freeze draws the elite, the best of the best in the front wheel drive business. Okay. And so I was there with that 2,670 pound Firebird. And then a guy by the name of Blaine Ellis came up to me. The Wyndham brothers, I met them. There's another guy named Gary Watson that was there, and a few other guys. I can name these guys all day long now, but the thing about it is, came up to the car. They go, you don't even have any idea what you got here. They were talking about the Ecotech, that the Ecotech was good and had potential. Okay. But they started showing me setup, what I needed for spring rates and stuff like that in the right rear and the front and all that other kind of stuff, teaching me a little bit about stagger with the front wheel drive car and all that kind of stuff. But believe it or not, buddy, old pal, okay, I think we were 66th or 67th quick out of about 100 cars. Okay. So in other words, that equates into slow. Okay. That equates into super slow, because I think they only took like the top 10 or 12 or something like that automatically go to the feature.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in the B main. I was in another B main. Okay. It's like I can't get rid of B mains, and we started off in like 8th or 9th place in the B main. Okay, with this Sunfire. Okay, but this was after me and my girlfriend at the time were up all night long, because I kind of got a clue that, hey, you're not supposed to run these things with the heater cores, with the evaporators, with the air conditioning system still on them. You know what I mean? With all the doors, the inner doors on them, stuff like that. That's why I was at 2,600 pounds. So I sawzalled that thing that night, and we got it down to about 2350, right around there. And so starting in the 8th hole in the B main, believe it or not, that little sucker, peg-legged and all, okay, peg-legged, okay, not no LSD, not welded, not nothing. Some way, somehow, I got into the 4th place transfer position, okay. Bumper was hanging off. I gotten some earlier tangles bringing that thing up there, and man, this is what got me hooked in front wheel drives, okay. I was like a nobody. I knew nobody there. A couple of guys were really being really nice to me and talking to me and stuff like that. And and a lot of people were watching me. Okay, I guess one of the reasons I got such a good suntan, if you didn't notice. But the bottom line is that a lot of people were watching to see what I was going to do. And just like when I finished that 4th place, this is what got me hooked. This is what got me hooked into front wheel drives. There were people that were coming out of the stands, guys from other pits. Do you realize what just happened to you? Do you realize do you have any idea what happened? I go, no, what happened? He goes, you made it into the main event at the Winter Freeze, the main event. And I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, so I'm in the main show? They go, yeah, you're in the show. Bumper was hanging up. These guys were helping me ratchet strap the bumpers back on the car. Best feeling in the world, man. I must have had 30 or 40 people around the pit that night watching us and helping out and doing whatever they could for us to make it into that show. And we got in the show, and I think we broke on the 8th or the 10th lap, because I had no clue that you needed to run a right rear safety hub. So I was still out there with stock hubs in the rear, had no clue. Kind of thought it was, a little bit crazy trying to pitch something in that hard. But we figured out you had to run the Cavaliers, or not the Caravan hubs, and or nowadays the D&Ds. But you're a great product, for the Cavaliers. You ain't going to snap one of those things going to a turn. But yeah, I remember, when that hub broke, I almost flipped that car over. That was not a real good feeling. So we recommend safety hubs for anybody running Cavaliers.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know you mentioned about Screvens here. I don't know when this happened exactly, but this picture right here, this one was you sent to me. Said something about it happened at Screvens as well.
Yeah, I believe that was the following year. That was the following year. So my very first year there, I believe, was 17. And I believe that was either 18 or 19. And I put together a motor it was a fast motor. It was a fast motor, but we still had that automatic in it, and we blew her to smithereens in practice. So we had to end up staying there watching the whole show. Which I know most guys, most racers, most true racers, they hate having to watch the main event if you don't make it in.
Exactly. I agree.
I hate it.
I agree. I after being in a car for so long and being like since 2021, since I've started, being in a car to being on the bleachers is two different entities, and it's like you like being in the car more than you like watching.
Right. Yeah.
So I know you were talking about the video on that one. I think it was Pike Lake Speedway. I think I remember seeing that one.
Oh, Pike with I beat out I barely beat out Austin Fleming. Okay, yeah. FFR of Fleming Family Racing. Bunch of great guys. Some of my best friends that I got out here, towards the Panhandle. We were fighting it out, second or third and fourth, both of us, and the leaders were, I'd say probably, 5 cars ahead of us or something like that. We had some more time to go. We had definitely more time to go, and then all of a sudden the leaders tangle up, and I inherited the lead, and Austin never got by me. He saved me. I think he could have taken me out on like the very last lap. I think he could have taken me out on the last lap coming out of 3, and he kind of nudged my bumper, and I knew he was there, but I hung on, and we won it. That was $1,000 to win show at Pike County, and that was the story that says patience, patience, patience. Okay.
So as we were just talking about Pike Lake here. I could bring. Let me hold on a second. 1 second. I'll share that video real quick of that Pike Lake here quickly. Here, let me see which one it was. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, that's when I had my side exhaust in to intimidate everybody that used to blow flames out.
There we go. I'll play this a little bit here.
FFR to the front, whichever way we do it. No matter you win, it's FFR, baby.
We're here, aren't we?
Yeah, that is where we are. Their sign's gone.
Yep. Welcome back to Pike County Speedway.
Round 2.
Yeah.
We made it. We left at 2. We made 1 stop, and it's now 5:18. So we're here. And the old 00, I think, is 100%. So we should see a good show tonight. Let's get in here.
All right. Good.
Play War Thunder now. Join millions of players across the globe.
Well, I guess they cut an ad came on. Huh. Give me 1 second.
In massive battles on tanks, aircraft, and
There
helicopters.
we go. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, you always hate those ads. I tell you when you're trying to play a video on YouTube. But
Yeah.
one thing I also want to bring up real quick, as far as the comments go. So I will get to the comment section here in about at the end of the live. I usually open the floor up on that. I know I got some in there acknowledging the comments or what not. I was just making that out there that I will be acknowledging them at the end of the live. Just putting that out there. As well, let's bring up another topic here. Jackson Motor Speedway, Mr. Two-Wheeler there in the qualifying.
Oh yeah. We had her overly hooked up. Got too much side bite right there, and almost flipped the car. Was able to pull out of it and land on all fours, and we finished qualifying.
Yeah, that was a crazy looking, like it was a crazy ride.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just like out of nowhere, I tried running aluminum wheels on it that night, because most of the time I run Steelies, with them hanging out a little bit with a good back set on it. You know what I mean? And I put Steelies on there because I wanted to lighten the car up, and it was fast. It was fast, but it just had too much side bite going in the turn. So I put the Steelies back on there, and we ended up doing good in the main, made it up to third. And then one of my killer gorillas came apart on me.
Oh no. So as I will bring up different tracks, I have to ask, what all tracks have you been to throughout the years?
Throughout the year, this year we had a pretty modest season. Okay, we didn't run very much, not the way that I like to usually race. Okay, we went to Jackson a couple of times. We went to Pike a couple of times. We went to Magnolia again. Heck, we went to Baton Rouge. Yeah, we went to Baton Rouge, Pike, Jackson. I think I only raced about maybe 7 or 8 times this year, and that was really about it. We didn't do no Screvens or anything like that. Nothing really super far or anything like that. It was kind of a bad year for us with business. We had to take care of business before we take care of pleasure. This is my
For
hobby
sure.
that I love, but the business comes first.
Oh
I
yeah.
had to stay here at the business and take care of business. We got things dialed in, and we got 4 cars ready for this year. Okay, four cars that we're dialing in. We got 3 front wheel drivers, and we got the good old Crown Vicky that we're going to try getting in that other 100 grand. But we got some big races that are coming up, and we hope we do good, at all of them. But that never happens. But all we can do is keep digging and keep digging and keep digging. That's what real racers are made of.
Oh yeah. So as you mentioned the big races, I know you said that you had a couple 100Ks coming up. So how are you? I should say planning, and as far as that goes, as planning, just getting ready in the journey to that 100K. Especially, I think it's Kokomo. You're going to Kokomo too, aren't you?
Right. We got the big 100K at Kokomo. I know one of the first guys to sign up for it. You know what I mean? Those big races, they excite me. I just have to. I have to do good. I have to do good. The best I've ever done in one of those super big races with the best guys in the country was an unofficial 8th place. Okay, at the Winter Freeze. Okay, but then they said something happened with the scoring, but I still got a top 10. So top 10 with the best guys in the world driving front wheel drive cars. I'm pretty proud of that one. Other than that, and I came in on a provisional. I didn't time in or anything like that. I came in on a provisional. I was just it was things were going my way that weekend, and we hung in there, and we pulled off the official 10th place finish. But SCDRA is tough. Okay, SEHA is tough. Okay, URSA, IMCA. I don't think that those those divisions are all that hard, but I really never raced a full-blown IMCA division. They had one, I believe it was Clarksville or something like that this year for 10,000 to win. I wanted to go to that, but I just couldn't make it on account of my schedule. Okay, but we're going to find out. Okay, we will find out, because they both sanctioning bodies have been invited to the 100K. You either have to claim that you're an SCDRA car, which that's what I'm claiming, okay, or an IMCA car. And so we're going to find out the best of the best. I kind of already have a feeling who's going to, be the best of the best, but I really can't. I'm not at liberty to say that, but I got 2 cars. We got another SEHA car that is pretty promising in my opinion, that can do really good. Okay, and then we got a little enduro car, another enduro 4-banger that is fast. It's won a lot of races. It was owned by a dealership owner around here named Eddie Mercer. He won every race that he got in with it. It's a Mitsubishi out of all cars, and like a Lancer. And so Then the good old Crown Vicky, the Crown Vicky's waiting for a big payday race. And so that's where the 100,000 is coming in on that one. That's not all the way until November. Sponsored by XR, Barry Braun. I talked to him a couple of times this last week, and he's or didn't talk to him personally, but we message each other back and forth, and he's excited about it. I know Paulie Clayton is excited about it. A lot of drivers are excited about it. The list, and I wanted to name tonight the list of some of the drivers that are going to be there, just to keep this show really, really super exciting. Okay, which it already is, Dalton.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but the list is going to be released on Monday. I talked to Barry. The list is going to be released on Monday of who the drivers are, and you'll see my name on there. And I'm sure the other 200 are not going to be no slouches.
For sure. I know we were talking about Bristol briefly earlier. Did you want me to bring on the actual the commentary video of Kenny Wallace and?
With Kenny Wallace and Dwayne Keith, yeah, sure, go ahead. You can show that. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to meet Kenny yet. He knows who I am. Okay, he was way up in the scoring tower. I talk to Dwayne all the time at different various racetracks that we go to. But yeah, go ahead, roll it.
1 second here. Just gotta get some. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, come on. Okay. Excuse me just a little bit. Having technical difficulties. Okay, here we go.
I know Dave. Low key love there, but
I love
let
it.
everybody know.
So tell me, you talked about Dave earlier this afternoon. Tell me a little bit
Dave
about Dyno
Smoot.
Dave. You've known Dave for a while. What's he all about?
Dave Smoot, Californian. Been racing for over close to 40 years now.
Wow.
Actually, I would keep some a dime piece with him. So that you got to know Dyno Dave. You will understand when I say that.
Now check this out. He's even in the live timing and scoring as Dyno Dave Smoot.
Yes.
That tells you all you need to know about Dave right there.
Former NASCAR Goody Dash driver as well. And
Really?
yes, two wheels driver. He's an African-American driver as well into this sport. So he's a good man. He's wild. The people in front wheel drive, boy, he gives them hell. He gives. Watch my buddy, him and Paul Clayton. They'll get at it.
Yes.
Go at it, and they're just stirring each other up. But I'm glad to see Dave doing well. He actually had a really bad rollover in Magnolia Motor Speedway in Columbus, Mississippi. Had neck injury, so he had to have surgery and go through that. And the way he recovered, well, I'm just going to go to Punta Cana and just relax and just live life with my dime piece. So, okay, Dave.
Good on you, Dave.
Yeah, you the man, man. So, the man does well. I got a lot of love for Dyno Dave. He's crazy, but he's a good man.
And it's good. Again, that's some of the camaraderie that we speak about here in the sport of dirt track racing as we watch Dyno Dave make his way around the racetrack here, sitting at 35th or 36th quick overall, with a 22.714. But that's some of the camaraderie that we talk.
That was a pretty good one. That was really good.
Yeah, came in at a 30 second quick out of about 100 cars. I'm not the fastest guy in the world, but hey, there's one thing you can know about the killer gorilla. I'm gonna keep on trying, baby.
Right on. So what was your biggest motivation, like the biggest motivation throughout the years? What was your the biggest motivation to get you week through week, racing wise to this?
Well, I know the biggest motivation was that eighth place, that so-called unofficial eighth place at Screven at the Winter Freeze, knowing that I could hang with those guys, okay, the best in the world, okay, and another win that I had at the Fall Classic, at that check you see right behind me, okay, the Fall Classic at Why Not Motor Speedway, we won that. A couple other ones at Penton, another one at Tri-County where there was a bunch of guys that didn't even want me to race. They said that my car was illegal this or illegal that. And they said, no, we'll let him race if he starts at the back of the pack. Okay. So I started at the back of the pack in the flame blowing Killer Gorilla, and we puffed them. Okay. We still won it. We won it that night, and couple other tracks, with fast guys, knowing that I was up there and in contention. One of them was at the King of Compacts, and took myself out, as well as another driver. Wasn't trying to win it on the first lap like some people were saying. It was just one of those racing deals. But messed the car up and couldn't go through it. So we know we're capable. We know we're capable, and we're going to keep on trying. It's just about a matter of Mike Wallace putting me together something that's going to be bulletproof. No, just joking, Mike. Okay, and we're working on that. Okay, we know that we're going to put together a screamer. Okay, and we're going to be trying doing the best we can for 2025.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna bring up one last big topic here. So what, if you mind talking about more about the MWR collaboration between you and Mike Wallace through your engine building and stuff like that?
Certainly. Mike is, in my opinion, the best Ecotech builder in the country. Okay, he puts together some of the fastest Ecotechs. Okay, and that motor right there was a dual badge motor. That was my cylinder head with Mike's bottom end on it, and that was a very, very good motor. Okay, very good, strong motor. Okay, and we got together. I went up there to his place, and we decided to start building these dual badge motors. Okay, when we say dual badge motor, that's going to be the top, my tops in some cases, and then his bottoms. Okay, and he's a mastermind on these Ecotechs. I mean, I had no idea what he was doing on some of these things, but he runs them in sprint cars. Okay,
Oh, wow.
And we're talking about they spend like 10,000 plus RPM. Okay, and he's won all kinds of championships in those things. And so I said, hey, look, if I'm gonna get a good Ecotech guy on my team, then I need Mike Wallace. And so me and Mike, we have a couple of things in the fire right now on different rod combinations, piston combinations, and things of that nature that are going to be out here in probably another 2 or 3 months. This plan should have happened for me, okay, probably about a year ago. But like I said, things got a little bit tangled up with day-to-day operations here at High Power Automotive. And so we had to work on first things first, which were the cars, and, putting out the fires, and, getting the customers happy. And so we're back there now. We're still looking for technicians. We're looking for technicians, and we don't pay cheap. Okay. We're not a shop to pay technicians cheap. Okay. Matter of fact, I just put these out. It's probably hard to read. Okay. But the bottom line is we're looking for technicians right now with a starting pay, if you're capable, okay, of 60 to 80K a year. Okay, for starters here in the Panhandle. Okay, but you best know what you're doing. Don't show up to work with a bag of tools. Okay, you better bring some pretty heavy artillery with you. Okay, you better be good at diag. You better be good at internal engine. You better be pretty much almost a superstar. Okay, to get paid 60 to 80 a year. And I've had guys here making 100, 120. Okay, and for some reason or another, they don't want to be honest, and they want to try doing little flim flams here or there, and they got to go. So this is a no nonsense type of a shop. We want good guys here that they can make a good living, and if you're interested, you can give me a call.
So, as a new racer coming into the sport, what would be your advice or tips of getting started into racing, as far as that goes?
First of all, be clean. Okay. Be clean. Okay. Present yourself well. Know how to talk to people. Okay. Don't go out there with a junker that looks like it just came out of the salvage yard that's got dents on every panel. Have a good, clean appearance so that you can obtain sponsorship. Okay, sponsorship will help you, okay, to maintain what you need to maintain as far as running, up front. Okay, you're not going to see guys that are, in the front that are just with junkers. Okay, you have to have a clean appearance. You got to work hard. You're going to be sacrificing, a few nights out of the week at least. Your wife's going to be, moaning and groaning at you and stuff like that. You're going to be in the garage with the guys, getting things to happen. You're going to be staying at the shop late sometimes. That's just a part of the deal. Okay, but my main suggestion is, have a clean appearance. Get to the track with not having a piece of junk, and you'll be able to raise some eyebrows and you'll be able to get some sponsorships and just carry yourself well and, do what you say. If you tell a guy, hey, I need some tires, I'm going to put, these stickers on, your car, do it, make that happen. I've had guys call me, say, hey, Dave, I want, to put some money, in your pocket for tires or fuel or whatever it is, I had Gorilla Glue, I had Gorilla Glue as a sponsor. I got Whit Transmission as a sponsor now, Ray Bestis Powertrain, for transmission parts and all that kind of stuff. Those guys gave me money, okay, cash money, honey, okay, that was able to help me out with my endeavor on doing this front wheel drive deal.
Awesome. So as far as that goes, we're gonna go ahead and open up it was great having you on here. We're gonna go ahead and open up the floor for the comments and for anybody that wants any questions or has any questions, I should say, has any questions for you or whatnot. And I do think we do have one actually. See if I find it. So Hooked Up Hot Shots has commented on here. I'll show the comment right here. He said, ask if he knows the X-Men.
Oh, yeah. We know Charlie. Mitsubishi Charlie. Charlie done got tired of getting beaten at Mitsubishi. He's got a Honda, and it's a fast one now. So he's going to be one of the guys that I have to contend with. Hey, Charlie, how you guys doing out there, buddy? I love you guys. Even though you're my competitors, I still love you. Bunch of great guys in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah. I also want to apologize again about not acknowledging the comments earlier in the show. I usually acknowledge them at the end of the show there. Let's see. Well, it looks like that's about it as far as questions go. I will say, thank you again, Dave, for coming on and talking about your story. It was a pleasure.
Okay, thank you too, Dalton, for asking me.
You have a great night, man. We'll keep in touch.
All righty. You guys have a good night. Keep it gorilla style. See you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dave Smoot, a.k.a. Dyno Dave from Pensacola, Florida. He's a pretty big-time racer down there as well. I want to say thank you for all the viewers. Thank you for this awesome comment. Appreciate it. Thank you, Team Savage Racing. Awesome show. I appreciate the feedback. We definitely tried. We've definitely put a lot into this one for sure. As far as that goes, next week looks like it's going to be the 9th. The 5th. The 5th we got David Fowler coming on, and then the 9th we got which is a track safety crew for Butler. And then the 9th we got Jim Slade, Michigan Dirt Racer Hall of Famer, is also going to be on there as well on the 9th. So it's going to be a pretty cool one as well as we get into that. Okay, here's my list. All right. So the 9th, we got Jim Slade there. And then looks like episode 11 is coming on the 12th. Jason Deschler, the 2024 track champion of Oakshade Raceway. 15th of February, looks like we got Brandon Crawford coming out of I think Rogersville, Tennessee, somewhere around there. I hope I didn't butcher the name too much, or the name of the place too much. I tried there. The 22nd looks like we got CJ Hargett coming on. races a local racer at Oakshade, and I'll get to hear his story as well. The 26th, we got another decent Hall of Famer that's been around for a while and raced sprints back in his day, as we bring on Jerry Slade on the 26th. The 26th of February. So I want to say thank you guys for everything. We appreciate the feedback. If you can always give me feedback on how we did, I always like to hear it so I can do what do I need to do for the next time as well. Thank you guys for joining, and you guys have a see you next time.